I'm actually not only honored, I'm actually very touched to be here with you. So, I don't want to talk much about tech, although I'm a fintech expert. I want to talk about people, because I tell you something. Tech is dead without people. I haven't seen any tech if it's not used by people. So, I want to stress more the people side, how it can have an impact in our lives, and how we should encourage tech to be used to help us, society. You know, how do everything start? Most great startups, the ones I know, they start with this, with a dream. And it's wonderful to dream and then to think, my God, could it be possible? Could I? My parents were very simple parents. Now I'm standing here. I was thinking about this before and I was so touched. And the honor to be here, and it's possible. Things are possible, you know. Things we are not master of. And the great startups, they try to follow their dreams. And I like to think of startups like surfers, maybe because they're sexy and you think, oh wow, if I could do this. And I think most startups like to think of them as, you know, Silicon Valley, California. I love that. Seriously. And so, you know, and startups have a lot in common with surfers, because surfing, you fail a lot. I mean, because you aim to get this perfect wave, but it's very hard, you know, to ride it. And you know, the odds are against you, especially for me. And you take a leap of faith. You do things that you have no clue if you could achieve it, with all the consequences that come with trying new things. And now I'll come a little bit to the word fintech. Fintech comes from financial technology. The young, not only young people, but people who think, hey, I don't like the way banking is done now. And I think I could do it better. So friends come together, 2, 3 people, and they say, okay, let's find a solution outside of the banks to provide better savings. Or how can I send money from Paris to Casablanca? And how can I make it cheaper? How can I make it better for people? And what the nice things about fintech startups is that they're very customer focused and very simple. You know why? Because that's all they have. They don't have much money. They don't have a reputation. The only thing is the customer they get. And you know, we all know how hard it is to win somebody over for your idea. So if you have them, they try everything to make their experience, from asset management, lending, you know, to the poor, whatever, as pleasant, as easy, and as cheap as possible. So they think very hard to be very innovative. Of course, they don't want to be bankers. It's not because bankers are bad, but it's probably those startups that don't feel comfortable being in such a big corporation where obviously they feel like they can't innovate. They're more like these guys. And even that looks cool. We're not there, but you know, they think, hey, we can do it. But you know, we forget, if we look from top down, the risk feels very different. So those people take a lot of risks. Maybe they have less to lose, but regardless to that, they take risks. And that's encouraging that we have people who take risks in order to help us all. This fintech startup, a very successful fintech startup, basically with that kind of message, they said, hey, the old system of overcharging clients is dead. That's how they showed it. I'll give an example. It used to be, and still is, if you send money with, I won't name names, but with a big organization, it might cost you 10 to 15%. From the moment they charge you, exchange rates, the moment the person picks up the money, and with those fintech startups, it might cost only 1% or 1.5%. They did another action where they walked almost naked. It seemed they looked naked. They just had skin color underwear on. to show, hey, we're transparent. We show what we charge, and we wanted you to know this is a billion-dollar company. So you can see, not only they take risk, entrepreneurial risk, they also want to show that they dare to be different and they dare to be innovative. And this is a little picture, but it gives a little picture. In the middle is any bank you know. And this is only a small picture of established players around it, where you can see any banking, from lending to, as I said, to sending money, to robo-advice, they will cover the space and they will provide you, if they're successful, with better solutions than most banks. You know, this is the future. That doesn't mean big banks can't innovate, but probably will be together with them because they're much more nimble. They really care for you. I mean, care in terms of, I mean, they want to win you over, obviously. It's a business. But I think the successful ones, it's more than business. You will think, who uses fintech? Fintech solutions. Of course, millennials, they're born 1980 to 95. You would think they use it. Yes, they do use it. But it's more than them, it's everyone. Challenger banks are those banks started out of fintech. Those customers are above 55 because they have the money. But it's, as I said, it's across, everybody will use it. And as they get more established, you will be very used to banking with them or with Facebook. It's going to be so normal. And you might bank with your bank. If it provides you those services and the customer focus, you might bank also with your bank. But it is not only about young and old, it's something much more important. I think that's where the legacy, if you remember fintech 100 years forward, I think the legacy of fintech will be a different one. Not only simple, cheap, or better, but helping people. Who are underbanked people? Underbanked people are people who don't have a bank account, who live maybe like in Nigeria in some areas where there's no branches. And the consequences of not having a bank account is severe because you get a salary. Where shall you have wired the salary? You want to build something, a small business, you need a loan. So it might be good to have a bank account. It might be good to have a relationship with somebody who says, I believe in you. It serves us all. And the beautiful thing about this, M-Pesa it's called, the service, where not with a smartphone, but with any phone. With a Nokia, with an old Nokia, you were able to transfer money, to receive money. That's empowerment. It's fantastic. And from being non-banked to becoming underbanked. And the next step, it will be to live, hopefully, a life we are so accustomed to. I think, yeah, it's very important. Then we have something worse than underbanked, the unbanked, the refugees. They have no identity, they have no bank account, and imagine how hard it is for those people, I mean, not even dream of a bank account, to start a normal life. And you know, a lot of the most successful startups in the world were built by immigrants. So some of those unbanked people here, hopefully a lot of their children, might be our future. So we should provide for them. So what we do in the fintech space, through blockchain and technology, we give them an identity. There are some fintech companies, together with governments, they give them a credit card. And the credit card acts as a bank account. So when they come out of this awful life where there's no identity, they become underbanked, but it's a first step. You know? So when they get a job, they can say, transfer the money to this account. They can provide better for their children. I mean, it's something so important for all of us that we strengthen society as a whole. So for them, again, basically, it's like you go to a shop and it says you're closed, but you want to get in because the coffee is good, because something good is behind the glass. And for those underbanked and unbanked people, it is like this. and they know it. But that's not something we should aim for. You know, underbanked, you won't find only in Africa or in India. You find it among ourselves. For instance, through a debt crisis, as we know, normal people who had normal jobs, who had some debt, all of a sudden lose their jobs. They can't provide for payments for their debt, but they have a family. So if the government would tell the banks, hey, be more conscious about the situation we're in, we have to find a way, they owe you the money, but we have to find a way to ease it, the pain, so they can feed their children, because that's a priority. I don't think many banks would say, oh yeah, it's a good idea, because they have a different business model. So, but fintechs, of course, for them, they will be open for those banks, and those people who won't want to transfer money to the banks will transfer the money, if they can, to a fintech account. Because fintechs, like in the UK, for instance, the UK is probably one of the most important fintech hubs. Regulators realized that they can't really change the big institutions. But by encouraging the fintechs to flourish, they changed banks, because you build competition. You know, that's the best way. And the same here. If the government can't do it by telling banks, hey, okay, we have to be more reasonable, or we have to look for solutions for the underbanked, then fintech is here to help, because they're happy to help, even if it's of their own interest, but they're there. I lived in America for so long, so I didn't take a soccer game. I took baseball. I think, like in baseball, it's not only about winning, or for a company about making money. Fans want to identify with corporation, identify with the team. That means you have to show some values. And imagine if, as a big institution, you would show that you care a little bit more than is expected from you. I think people would identify with you. And if you don't, you will miss an opportunity of people that will be your own future as they grow more established. And there will be people who will jump in the opportunity, thank God, to allow those seats to be filled and to help those people from rich to poor, from people who can't help. And since we can help, I think it's worth to do it. I mean, that would be the goal. You know, I don't know if we can reach it, but at least should be the aim by governments, regulators, big banks and fintechs to fill the stadium, to let most of us participate in a better future. And, you know, I think maybe together we can turn this sign around from closed to open. I think it's a dream worth dreaming.